Hello everybody, welcome back to Tempest Books. I'm Rebecca and today we are doing our November wrap-up. First up we've got Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldwin. Now I gave this one 3.5 stars. I start out going into a book just sitting at a baseline level of 3 stars for just about everything. We're starting this book because I read the synopsis and it sounded interesting, so we'll just start at 3 stars and you'll either lose some or you'll gain some. So this one gained an extra half. This is a story about an orc who has retired from her adventuring and decides to open a coffee shop in a city. It's very, very D&D reminiscent. It's like you sit there reading it going, is it D&D? Maybe. It's definitely based on it. Is it? And there's a couple of callbacks to, rings of what have you, or bags, or just little like Easter eggs for D&D in it. I did like that. That was fun. It was an interesting book overall. It wasn't hugely memorable. I liked the fact that they've looked at what did they do after adventuring. She didn't die in her adventuring and during the massive amounts of death that she wreaked throughout her career. She lived. So now what is she going to do? I like coffee as a good idea. Coffee is an excellent idea if you're going to retire. Bring coffee to the world. The whole world needs it. And look, it wasn't a bad book. It wasn't hugely memorable. It's not something I'm going to reread. It has your standard villain. It has your standard sort of, this is the speed bump in the road. This is how we dealt with it. We shall continue on. Again, it wasn't something I'll reread. It wasn't a half bad book. If you like D&D, if you like the eclectic idea of, what do they do after they're finished with their marauding, then sure, it's a good book for you. Read it. My only 1 star for this month was From Here to You by Jamie Maguire. I didn't like this book at all. It was incredibly boring to me. Like, I struggled to go from page to page. To me, it was very predictable. The characters weren't hugely fleshed out. They had story, but somehow not substance. I found it incredibly predictable, and I couldn't enjoy it. It's a basic sort of woman flees a bad relationship, baby on board, and finds herself in a small town where other things are happening and someone else has come into it as well, and he's there for the job. I just didn't, unfortunately, find that I enjoyed it at all. Maybe my tastes are too dark now, and I couldn't find myself enjoying it. So unfortunately, this just got 1 star from me. A book that didn't go up or down any stars was My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I was actually quite looking forward to this one. I actually thought it was going to be quite the comedy. It wasn't quite as funny as I'd hoped it was going to be. It was just kind of a standard rom-com. I did like the fact that she is definitely not the damsel in distress. He definitely is. Like, if anyone's going to need saving, it's going to be him, because he probably couldn't fight his way out of a plastic bag. Essentially, time-lost vampire needs to get back into the world, so rents out his spare room to a very desperately, starvingly broke artist, and it goes from there, really. 3 stars for this one from me. I think I'm going to skip trying to do the light-hearted stuff, because it's not fair on everyone else. It is not fair on the books, because they end up with low ratings for me, because I think I'm just reading outside of my preference. So I think I'll go back to the hard stuff. I had 2 5-star reads this month. I had The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness and Better Off Dead by Tom Wood. Now, I actually watched The Knife of Never Letting Go because I saw the movie one night having dinner. I picked the movie to watch. I hadn't really looked at it before then because the only trailer I'd ever seen was really, really cringy, and I hate cringy in movies. So I didn't bother watching it, but I picked it to watch and I actually quite enjoyed it. I liked the visuals of the noise, the element of the movie. And so I realized that seeing as I had the first book in the series and I hadn't minded the movie at all, that I would read the book. And I'm very glad I did. It was excellent. It did make me think that I really haven't read Dresden more recently enough. A lot of the books I've been reading have been either in third person or they're from a female's point of view, and you are immediately thrown into a first person male point of view to someone who is like a middle teen, and that was just such a difference in perspective for me, like from what I've been reading over the last few months. And so it immediately struck me. It was like, oh, okay, excellent. This is different. This engages my attention. The idea of, you know, how this could possibly have happened to these people, like where the noise came from, that was really interesting. So the basic premise of the book is humanity's reached out towards the stars. They've been colonizing, ships go out and they've landed on planets. This particular planet that you only really see like the one small part of for a long time at first is essentially their colonies. And this world seemingly caused an aberration in everyone. Every male has his thoughts broadcast constantly. And so that was very, very interesting to me. It was a really unique premise. I love books with unique premise. If I haven't thought about it before or read about anything like it before, it instantly grabs me. So I liked the fact that having read the book after I'd watched the movie gave me some mental visuals to add that sort of added to the story. It fleshed it out for me. It made me be able to see the characters in my head in a new way, and I liked that. I liked how different it was from the movie as well. This was much better than the movie. This is definitely a book that's going to go onto my, 5 books that I read because of the movies sort of thing. I did like the series. It ends on a cliffhanger. The main character, Todd Hewitt, he certainly had his foibles and his flaws, and he tried really hard despite it, despite everything he came up against, everything that happened to him. And this boy got bruised. I mean, I swear he spent the entire book a walking bruise, or with cuts on him, or just, how are you not dead yet? How are you still walking? And I can appreciate that. That's pretty awesome. So this book got 5 stars from me, and I'm actually really anticipating getting to the rest of the trilogy. So my really hard-hitting read for the month was Better Off Dead by Tom Wood. This is the 4th book in his Victor the Assassin series. Now, 7th book if you count the novellas in between a couple of the books. This one was a little bit of a deviation from how Victor normally is. Poor boy sprouted some emotions in this book, and he did not know how to deal with them. He did not appreciate what was going on quite a few times there. This is less of him having to kill people, as he usually should for an assassin, and more, he's got to protect someone. So he's actually got to keep someone alive this time. And it really messes around with him, especially because this person has a link to his past. So this was another 5-star read for me. I do love Tom Wood and his books. Most of them have been 4.5 to 5 stars for me. And yeah, I really liked this look at poor Victor's emotional side. He did not appreciate it being brought to the fore at all. So this one was another 5-star read for me. So that's it. You've gotten the 5 books that I read in November. It was an average sort of month. There were only 2 really standout reads. The rest of it was kind of eh. I'm hoping that December will be a good deal better. It is monster month in December for me, and that is because the heat has come to Tasmania. It is like the 3rd day of summer, and the heat has just popped out all of a sudden. The animals are freaking cranky, and everything is just out to get you. So we're getting sunburnt, we're getting bitten, and so as far as I'm concerned, it's monster weather. It's monster time. We don't really do Halloween here, but this is kind of my equivalent. All right. Thank you for standing by with me, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like, help my channel grow a little. See you next time.